Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hope all of you having a great week. Hope all of you having a fantastic Tuesday. If not, hope this video can make it a little bit better. And man, oh man. I know why you're here. You know why you're here. It is time for the Alabama. Clap it up to the Crimson Tide versus the Georgia Bulldogs preview. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited as well. I don't think words do it any justice. This is one of the most anticipated games of the season. This is one of the biggest games of the season. You can throw the rankings out the window because I know everybody perceives a big game with it normally being like a top 10 or maybe sometimes a top 5 matchup. But nah, this one's different. If you're from the Southeast, if you're in Alabama or you're a Georgia fan, you already know. The past 10 years or so, these have been the best programs in all of college football. In pursuit of a national championship, more times than not, if you're Georgia or Alabama, you had to beat one another. Now here's where things get interesting. Historically speaking, Georgia and Alabama haven't been the two biggest rivals, but due to all the recent success, they've become big-time rivals. I know what all my Alabama fans are sitting there saying, whoa, hold on, Matt. We're considering Georgia a rival now? I thought for it to be a quote-unquote rivalry matchup, the other team had to compete in it. We've beat Georgia the last 9 out of 10 times, and yes, you're correct. I can't even call that a fun fact because I'm sure most of you know that by now. Alabama has beat Georgia 9 out of the last 10 games. What's crazy is I'd say Georgia outplayed Alabama in more than half of those, yet Alabama's won almost every single one. We'll get to that a little later in this video, a little foreshadowing. There's a mental edge that Alabama has over Georgia, and not even just the football team, the coaching staff. I'm talking about the fan base as well. I think I've hyped it up enough. This is a monumental game. Last year in Kevin DeBoer's first season, everybody thought Georgia and Kirby Smart was going to send them a message. Georgia's finally going to get over the hump of beating Alabama. But like Lee Corso says, not so fast, my friend. Alabama obliterated them in the first half. However, in the second half, different story. Georgia actually wound up taking the lead, and then the Ryan Williams incident happened. Till this day, that is one of the, I don't even want to say craziest, but one of the weirdest games I've ever watched. It didn't even feel real. How can I put this into a good perspective? It felt like I was watching two football games. The Alabama we saw in the first half was not the same Alabama you saw in the second half, and the same thing can be said for Georgia. Georgia takes a 1-point lead, 34-33. Ryan Williams has the twirly twirl 3000. Alabama goes up 41-34, and Carson Bate throws the interception in the end zone. That's the end of the game. It leaves Georgia fans devastated and heartbroken yet again in a game against Alabama. I've said this every single year I've talked about this game. I'm going to say it again. Why I believe you should value our prediction on this channel more than anybody else's, because we've never missed. In the history of having this YouTube channel, I have never predicted the Georgia and Alabama game wrong. Y'all remember in 2021? Man, I can't believe that was 4 years ago. One of the best videos of all time on the channel. I said Georgia's in trouble. Jamison Williams, he's not going to be stopped. He's going to light up that secondary. Bryce Young, he's going to throw for 300, 400 yards. They're not going to have an answer for him. And whoa, what do you know? That's what happened. Alabama stomped them 41-24. But remember, Georgia, they still made the playoff as the 4 seed, and they made it to the national championship and had a rematch with Alabama. This time, I picked Georgia to win the game. So don't be one of these nerds talking about, well, of course you got them all right, Matt, because Alabama's won every single matchup. No. The one time Georgia beat Bama, I picked them to do so. Ever since then, I did pick Alabama to win. In 2022, they did not play, luckily enough for Georgia. In 2023, they played, and Alabama won. They beat Carson Beck, and last year, they beat Carson Beck again. We know what happened there. Heck, man, I remember that 2023 prediction like it was yesterday. I remember heading into the video thinking, and I stated in the video, and I still believe it, Georgia has a better football team. But Alabama has the mental edge over them, so I'm taking Alabama. Alabama didn't play good in that game. Georgia had a costly fumble. Alabama had it was like one controversial, or maybe it was 2 controversial plays that went their way. And what do you know? Alabama, they pull out another one against the Dogs. Fast forward time into our current matchup, unlike previous ones, there's a lot of question marks. Not even just about Alabama, but about Georgia as well. I'm going to remind some of y'all, don't just look at that undefeated record by Georgia's name. Kirby Smart even told you after the game, they should have lost to Tennessee. They didn't play that good. The defense looked atrocious. Anytime you give up a 40-burger, it's not a good performance. That's concerning for Georgia. Sure, the offense looked good, but I'd like to see a little bit more out of Gunnar Stockton. On the flip side for Alabama, I mean, come on. Do you want me to sit up here and tell you this? You should already know it. Obviously, there's a ton of question marks because you got curb stomped by the Seminoles only a few weeks ago. Sure, you've taken care of business since then, beat you a couple cupcakes in Wisconsin, but I think we all know this is a different beast and animal. In my humble opinion, this is your first real test since the Florida State game, and also, bad news for Alabama, you're on the road! Fun fact of the day, don't worry, I got a bunch of them for this video. Do you know what Kalen DeBoer's record is at home? He's 9-0. Clap it up. Clap it up. That's perfect. Literally. Do you know what his record is on the road? 2-4. Not what you like to hear. Will that factor in my decision? I'll leave you with this. We're not even close to this video being over with. Absolutely, it's going to factor into my decision. Are you kidding me? Let me ask you a question, Timothy and Bobby. Have you seen this Alabama team on the road the past couple of years? They suck! It's not complicated. An ace is an ace, a spade is a spade. Kevin DeBoer's teams have been awful on the road. But here's the kicker with that. It almost feels like this could be the game that turns everything around. If you can go into Athens, Georgia, upset the Bulldogs, I would consider it an upset. This could be the starting point. I'm not saying this would take away all the previous road losses, but this could feel like the game where you get your mojo and swagger on the road and you never look back. I don't even think necessarily for the players, but for Kalen DeBoer, because you know he's going to be thinking about it. I believe he needs a good, not even just a good, but a great road win. For Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs, well, it's in Athens, Georgia. Goes on being said, that place is going to be rocking. I'm sure it's going to be an outstanding atmosphere. If I was a Georgia fan, I'd be feeling way more comfortable and secure than an Alabama fan because of the same reasons Alabama fans felt secure for 15 years. When you got Nick Saban, you don't have to worry about your team being ready to go. Same thing with Georgia. You got Kirby Smart, Nick Saban 2.0, whatever you want to call them. You don't have to worry about, oh, are we going to show up? No, they're going to show up. The question is Alabama going to show up? I don't know if Alabama will show up. You would think they would. You'd think they'd be hyped up for an anticipated road game, but they weren't hyped up for the Florida one. They weren't ready to go in that one. I don't think this is likely, but there's definitely a case and scenario where what happened against Florida State could happen in this one, if not worse. Georgia could beat them by 28 points. They could. That would never happen with Nick Saban, but now things are different. Let's talk about quarterback play a little bit. We got two new starters. That intrigues me as well. We got Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson. Both of these guys, we'll do a nice little golf clap for them, have had stellar starts to their seasons. Stockton doesn't have the touchdowns and numbers that Ty Simpson has. He only has 4 touchdowns on the year. Ty Simpson, 9 touchdowns. But here is something I think is definitely worth noting. Both of these quarterbacks combined have 0, I'm going to say it again, 0 interceptions. That's nice. What does that tell you? Both these young men, they know how to take care of the football. Outside the 0 interceptions, both of them ranked top 15 in the nation in total QBR. Really impressive stat lines from both of these guys because heading into the season, nobody talked about it. Nobody gave them any love whatsoever. When people were talking about some of the best quarterbacks in the SEC this year, Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson, their names were not brought up. I think they've looked pretty good up until this point. Little side note to throw in there while I'm thinking about it. Alabama's getting 2 star players back. Tim Keenan on the defensive line and Jam Miller, their star running back. That's going to help them out. Offensively, I'm going to give the edge to Alabama. Defensively, I know they haven't looked all too great. We just talked about them giving up 40 to Tennessee. I'm giving the edge to Georgia. Here's why. I don't trust this Alabama defense. I don't. Sure, you look great the past couple of weeks, but yet again, we're going to divert back to this. Haven't really played anybody. I don't like defenses that are soft. Alabama's defense against Florida State and dating back to last year have been soft at times. I can't say the same for Georgia. So I'll give Georgia the edge on defense, no problem whatsoever. But Alabama on the offense side of the ball, I think they have more star power. And I know who you immediately thought of. Ryan Williams, right? Wrong! Well, he is a great player too. But he's not even the best wide receiver that Alabama has. If you keep up with Alabama, you know this. The best wide receiver on that team is Jeremy Bernard. Keep your eyes on him. Heck, I say best wide receiver. He may be the overall best player on Alabama. Whenever we have big-time games like this, I like to give you 3 keys for each team. Let's start with Alabama first. Number 1, this is something you tell a middle school football team. It's sad I got to say it, but Alabama's defense needs to hear it, and if they don't do this, we can't even get to the X's and O's. On defense, play hard and be disciplined. I'm not even getting past that. I'm not elaborating. Play hard. I hate I have to say that. I've never had to say that about an Alabama football team in 20 years, but here we are. Number 2, we'll go on the offensive side of the ball. Ty Simpson is a really good thrower, accurate, good arm. He's even a better athlete than what most people give him credit for. But if the run game doesn't help him out, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be similar to what happened against Florida State. Jam Miller's coming back. I'd like to believe that's going to spark the rushing attack. And Lord knows they need it. The way it's looking this year, Alabama is predominantly going to be a passing team, which is fine. I'm not saying you got to rush for 300 yards against Georgia, but here's what I am going to say. You have to make them respect the run, and you need to get around, here's my ballpark, 150. That's my magic number. If Alabama has over 150 rushing yards, they win the game. Under it, they lose. Number 3, we'll go back to defense. So after you can get past just playing hard, discipline, everybody doing their role, everybody account for who they need to account for, You got to stop the run. Notice I haven't talked about Gunnar Stockton. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not trying to discredit him, but I'm not worried about him. This isn't like a Tommy Castellanos type of guy. You don't really got to worry about Gunnar Stockton for running all over your defense. But what you do got to worry about is the Georgia running backs running all over your defense. This isn't any brand new information or knowledge. Georgia, they're going to ground and pound you. And if you don't stop them, well, they're not going to stop. I think he's good enough to beat you. But you at least have to get to that point if this makes sense. You got to make Gunnar Stockton beat you through the air. If you can stop the run, force some 3rd and 7s where they have to pass the ball and he completes it, we just clap it up to him and say, you know what? They outplayed us today. You got to get Georgia in those 3rd and 7 pluses, even 3rd and 6 pluses, stuff like that. If it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4 the whole game, that's right where Georgia wants to be. Need some big plays on defense. Be nice if you could pick them off, get a scoop and score, something like that. Let's talk about the 3 keys for Georgia. Key number 1, 2 players. Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard. Track them. Don't lose sight of them. They are good enough to beat you by themselves if Ty Simpson can get them the ball. I hate to say Alabama has the best wide receiving core in the nation, but here's one thing I'm almost certain of. Alabama definitely has one of the better wide receiver cores Georgia's going to face this entire season. They have some other wide receivers like Isaiah Horton, and the list goes on and on, but those are the main 2. You got to just be all dip 24/7. And even if you're on them, as we saw last year on the twirly twirl 3000 catch, it didn't matter. You had 2 on him, and he made him look silly. Key number 2 for Georgia. We'll keep it on the defense side of the ball. I think it matters a ton. Blitz, 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 and continue to blitz. Ty Simpson, when he has time, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. When he has pressure, I'm not going to say he's one of the worst, but here's the thing. He's flustered like all quarterbacks are. Apply the pressure. Be the hunter, not the hunted. You dictate what Alabama does, not the other way around. Key number 3, Gunnar Stockton. I love you, my man, but don't be a superhero. You're at home. You got what I think is a sound defense. Make Alabama go out there and beat you. Don't beat yourself. We've seen it with Georgia many times against Alabama. They'll beat themselves. Don't do that. This Alabama football team doesn't need any help. I don't even want to see trick plays. Do not put them in a position to fail. Let them hand the ball off, short passes, and, take your deep shots occasionally. But if there's a questionable pass, it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, you think you can squeeze in the window, don't even try it. Throw it out of bounds. That's my keys for the game. Let's talk about the mental part because we got to bring it up. You're thinking about it. The Georgia players are thinking about it, and so are the Alabama players, and it does matter. Georgia knows it. They're not dumb. There's a stigma where there's like, oh, man, we just can't beat these guys. It doesn't matter if we get up by 14 like they did in the SEC championship where Jalen Hurts came in and saved the day when Tua got hurt. It doesn't matter if they're winning in the national championship where it was the other way around. Jalen Hurts went out of the game. Tua came in to save the day. We just can't put these guys away. It's not even like, oh, you can feel it or sense it. You can see with your own 2 eyeballs. Georgia plays timid against Alabama in the second half. They've got to put an end to that. But I think if Alabama, this is going to be key for them, if they can just hang in this game, even if you're losing by 7 at halftime, as long as you're keeping it respectable, you're going to have a good chance. Because the longer you stay in this game, the more Georgia's going to start to think, oh, man, here we go again. Are we going to blow another one? If you're Alabama, I'd say, although this ain't a perfect case and scenario, if it's 17-10 heading into a fourth quarter, 24-17, you're only down by 7 points, I'd say that's a win. I saw one of the funniest comments ever the other day. A Georgia fan said, I don't care if Alabama is 0-11 heading into the game with Georgia. Everybody knows they're going to turn into the 1990 San Francisco 49ers. I have never heard anyone refer to a team as a 1990 San Francisco 49ers. That was funny. But seriously, Georgia fans, they know it more than anybody else. It's why they're not even cocky or anything like that heading into this game. Alabama has their number. When it comes to predicting this game, though, y'all know my golden rules. Anytime we got a close one or what we think is going to be a close one, and which I think it will be, I got to go with the quarterback I trust more and the team/coach I trust more. When it comes to quarterback playing this game, we're going to call that a wash. I think that's more unfair. They're 1A, 1B. So that now leaves us with the teams themselves and, more importantly, the head coaches, Kirby Smart and Kalen DeBoer. And you want to know what head coach I trust more? Are you kidding me? It's not up for debate. Kirby Smart. You want to know what team I trust more? Same thing. The Bulldogs. I don't trust this Alabama football team. Why in the world would I pick a team I don't trust on the road against a team I do trust when they're 2-4 dating back to last year? I tell you right now, if this game was in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, we'd be having a completely different conversation. But all I know is this game's on the road, and it is not a smart pick to pick Alabama. And when we pick these games, our job or my job is to make the best educated guess as possible. And I think that's the best guess I can make. I truly do. Anytime I pick against Alabama, which hasn't happened many times on the channel, maybe this is the second or third time, I have to throw in this disclaimer. Because you're going to have some people saying, oh, well, Matt's a fake Alabama fan. I can't believe he's picking against his own team. Listen up, Timothy and Bobby. Just because I pick against Alabama doesn't mean I'm not an Alabama fan. My job is to analyze and predict these games to my best ability. I don't let what team I go for get in the way of that. I've always said this. I pride myself in being a college football analyst first, Alabama fan second. Nothing's going to change that. Secondly, let me clarify. Does this mean I'm rooting for Alabama to lose? Does this mean I'm rooting for Georgia? No, I hope I'm wrong. I want Alabama to win. That's the fan in me talking. But obviously, I don't think they will because I'm predicting against them. I'll take the Bulldogs in this one. Let me give you a final score. 31 to Alabama's 24. Many more things I could say. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But